Welcome to Friday Finances with Mr. Msibise. My name is Tabani Msibi, better known as Mr. Msibise. Now, if this is the very first time you're joining our city, hello! Yeah, please hit that subscribe button. You see, hit that subscribe button so that you can get notifications every time we upload a new video. Now, guys, today I want us to talk about buying a car. Now, obviously, remember when we started, we did say that everything that we are going to be discussing here, it's based on how you use money. So we're just going to be continuing with our journey in financial education. So we are going to be talking about buying a car, more specifically, financing your car. Now, we all know that majority of people want to own cars, which is a good thing. So this is a good advice from me to you. If you have cash, please do yourself a favor, buy your car in cash. But if not, make sure that you stay tuned. Watch this so that we can enlighten you. Now, if you are going to finance your car, guys, there are certain things that I need you to take into account. Be aware of them because they are going to affect your pocket, whether you like it or not. So what do we mean by financing your car? Basically, what we mean by financing your car is you going to a dealership, an approved dealership, by the way. You go to a dealership, you borrow money, right? So there are two ways. You borrow money. Oh, sorry, no, not to the dealership. You go to the bank. Man, what am I saying? Oh, guys, I'm doing videos at night. You go to the dealership, you tell them that this is the car that you want. Now, so the dealership will then ask you if you want to finance your car. So financing is basically the loan, the loan amount that the dealership is going to borrow on your behalf from the bank. So they're going to go to the bank and borrow money. Now, different banks are going to compete. They don't tell you this, but yeah, they're going to compete with the best interest. Then they come back and they're going to give you. So what that actually does is that the bank actually then lends you money. So the money is going to be transferred to the dealership. Then the dealership is going to make you sign documents and then you're going to take your car, right? So that is you financing your car through a dealership. So that is why when you lose that car, it's called a repossession. It's as if you actually possessed the car and you didn't. So yeah, it's repossession. Then the second method, what you have seen happen with a lot of people, is when you buy a second-hand car. Second-hand car, you take a personal loan, take the money from a personal loan, then you buy a car cash. It works, yeah. But we're going to come back to that. So now let's go back to the financing, the method of financing. So generally, the common way of financing a car would be that one where you then have to pay monthly premiums. Now, there are certain things that people do not take into account. When you buy a car, there are certain things that you need to look at, specifically your pocket. That is why you'll hear people say a car is not an asset, it's a liability, because they're looking at it in a manner that it depreciates. It means it loses value immediately when it leaves the dealership. So let's put you into a scenario. Ne? So when you go to a dealership and then they calculate for you, they tell you that this car, it's gonna cost you this much on a monthly basis. What you need to do is to go back into your house, sit down with yourself. Now you already know how much the car is going to cost. Now that's the mistake that people make. It's not only about how much the car is going to cost you monthly. You then from there, let's say for instance you come back, they say the car is going to cost you about 3 grand per month. That's 3,000 rand per month. Yeah, 3,000 rand per month. You then need to take into account the tires of the car. How long does what type of tires does the car uses? How long are the tires that you have going to last you? 2, you need to take into account the fact that you're going to be buying fuel or petrol. So you also need to calculate how much you're going to be spending on a monthly basis. And four to number 5, I'm not somewhere there. You then need to calculate the amount of insurance that you're going to pay. That when you combine all of those things, they're then going to tell you how much you're actually going to be spending on that car. Right. So do not be so happy and say, I know my budget was 3,000 rand and then the dealership gave me 3,000 rand. It seems like you tend to forget that there's still insurance that needs to be paid for in that car. There's still fuel that you need to buy for that car. And other things, minor things, or your extended warranty if it doesn't come with that. So those are the type of expenses that you need to take into account. And most people do not take those things into account. And then they end up complaining that the cars they bought are expensive and they're not aware of that. So you as a person who hasn't bought a car or as a person who's planning to buy a car in the next few months, take into account those things. That's how you calculate them. Now, another thing, please don't take me wrong. I'm not saying it is a wrong thing. I'm just not a fan of it. There's this thing called a balloon payment. You see, the moment you see a dealership advertising a car and they've already told you how much it's going to cost you per month, they don't even know you, but they've already calculated. That thing has a balloon payment. Now, what is a balloon payment? A balloon payment is the payment that you are going to pay at the end of the period. So in some cases, it is either a lump sum or you can refinance that thing. So I'm still going to go deep into that one as to how you can refinance a balloon payment. But basically, a balloon payment, it is there to reduce the premium for you. So you can go to a dealership, then they say you find them promoting a certain car, and then they tell you, no, this car is going to cost you about $5,000 per month. By that time, they don't even know you, they don't know your credit score, but they've already calculated those things for you. That's because there's already a set criteria that they've used. So they already know what percentage they're going to charge each person, the type of balloon payments, and the type of deposit that is going to be needed from you. So again, take note in those things. So whenever you see those things, be aware that there's a balloon payment and what type of balloon payment there is and how you can do that. So if I were you, I would definitely stay away, but I'm not you, so you'll make your own decisions. So yeah, all of these things that I'm telling you guys, I'm not trying to direct your mind anywhere else. I'm trying to actually educate you so that you know which these are the certain things that you need to take into account. Again, another thing that people do not take into account is when you buy a car, understand why you're buying the car. Buy it for the purpose that you are going to use it. If you stay in a rural area, play far away from small cars, you need to buy big cars. There's a reason for that, because we are trying to protect the car, right? So what happens on those things where you buy a small cars and you know you stay in a place that is full of gravel road, that car is gonna get ruined very fast, right? So that's another problem. Now, and recently we've been facing a challenge with what we are seeing in South Africa, where cars are being repossessed, and it's another thing that people are not aware of. Just because your car has been repossessed, it doesn't mean you're off the hook. Yeah, I'll let that sink in. Think about it for a moment. Yeah, you're not off the hook, because what they're going to do, the dealership is going to take back the car. Remember, they're not interested, not the dealership, sorry, the bank. The bank is going to take back the car, and they're not interested in the car. They're actually interested in the amount of money that they borrowed you. So what they're going to do is they're going to take the car, revalue the car, put it in an auction, and then the auctioneer will give them a price. So let's say, for instance, you were outstanding with 100,000 when they were repossessing your car, and then the auctioneer is saying they're willing to buy the car from the bank for 60,000 rand. That 40,000 rand, it's not gonna go missing. So it's 60,000 rand is gonna be paid by the auctioneer to the bank. The 40,000 rand, you as the owner of the car, or no, not the owner, as the person who had the car, you are still going to pay the outstanding 40,000 rand. Because the bank is not interested in the car, they're interested in the amount of money they borrowed you. That's all they wanna recoup. So whenever your car gets repossessed, you're in a position of those things. Understand that it doesn't necessarily mean you're off the hook. Unless if it's in a case where your car, it's bought for more than what it actually cost, right? It's the same thing with trade-in. When you trade in your car, and you try and find out how much the dealership can buy it for. That is why people will keep on telling you that a car is a liability, because you can buy it for 100,000, and when you sell it, you're only gonna sell it about for 70,000 rand, and you still have that debt. So my people, my lovely people, I humbly beg you, when you're about to make a decision of buying a car, look at your budget. Calculate everything that is going to be an expense into you, the type of tires, the type of insurance, the type of premium, the fuel that you're going to be spending. That's how you're going to calculate exactly how much you're going to be spending as an expense, not that 3,000 rand or that flashy 1.2 that is advertised there as your rental. And two, when a car is repossessed, take note, it doesn't necessarily mean you are off the hook, 100% off the hook. You might be lucky to be off the hook, but in most cases, it's not the case. If there's an outstanding balance, you are going to pay it. 3, when you trade in your car, ensure that you get the correct value of what your car is, so that you can be able to use the trade-in balance as a deposit in your car. And if you have cash, buy your car on cash. You'll be stress-free. Other than that, balloon payment, they're gonna be playing with you, and you're gonna find yourself in some deep, big weight, right? Anyway, enjoy. I hope whatever I was sharing with you did make some sense. For more information, I'm gonna see you next week on our next video. Bye bye. Woo!